السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم أبنائي وبناتي طلاب الصف الخامس. Today إن شاء الله we are going to continue concept 3.2. We are going to finish the curriculum for the first month, which is March exam. My dear students, we are going إن شاء الله to study activities 9, 10, 11, and finally 12. And at the end of the session, we are going to solve general question. Let's start with activity 9. How much water do you use? In this activity, my dear student, we are going to think and know how much water do me, you, and your brother and every member in your family use every day. By the following table, which will show how you can calculate the average amount of water that a person, just a person, use in some daily activities. Okay, so we will have different daily activities and we will measure how much water every person uses by two different methods. Okay, let's start. The first method. First method, my dear student, we have two activities, which are taking a shower, brushing teeth with running water. These are two different activities, okay? In the first method, we will measure the number of minutes to do this activity each time. So, each shower, we take how much time, okay? And each brushing your teeth, how much time you use, okay? It takes for me in every brushing the teeth, you have 4 minutes, and it takes 10 minutes for me to take a shower, okay? Then multiply the amount of water for each minute. Here we have 10 minutes. And the amount of water which we use in each minute is 7 liters. So 1 minute during what? During taking a shower takes 7 liters. So how much or what the total amount of water which used to do the activity each time? So every time you take a shower for 10 minutes, it uses 70 liters. Okay, it's a very big number, just 10 minutes, but my shower takes what, 20 minutes or more. Okay, so it will not be 70 liter, it will be 140 and more according to the time used in the shower. Number 2, brushing teeth with water running. Brushing teeth, yeah, it takes for me 4 minutes. And in each minute, I use 6 liters, yeah, during the brushing my teeth. So if I ask you, my dear student, what the amount of water which used to brush teeth with running water, yeah, for brush teeth in each time for 4 minutes, 24 liters. Okay, so that's what the amount of water used by this minute. Okay, we think the number of minutes and the amount of water in each minute and multiply the time with the amount of water for each minute. So we get the total amount of water used to do the activity each time. Okay. The next one or the next method, we can measure the number of time which repeat, okay, in one day and multiply it with the amount of water used to do this activity each time. To do this activity each time, I need what? Yeah, 5 liter. Like what? Flushing a toilet. Every time you flush the toilet, you use 5 liter. Okay, but how many times you use it? Yeah, just 4 times. If you flush the toilet 4 times, it will use 4 times. 4 multiplying 5, you will use 20 liter, my dear student. But washing hand, yeah, we repeat washing hand. If, yes, we said that we wash our hands 6 times every day, and multiply this with the amount of water used to do this activity, which is 4 liter. So 6 multiplying 4. So the total amount of water used to do this activity will be 24 liter. This number of liter is very large. Yeah, 24, 20, and the previous 70, 24. It's a large number of water. So, if our activity talk about how much water we use every day, I think it's a very big number. So, we must, what? We must take care that we use a lot amount of water in the activities every day. So we must conserve water. We must conserving water during taking these activities. Okay, so during our activities, by changing our habit, we must changing our habit, my dear student. Look at this picture. This boy, he closed the tap and he used what? A cup. Instead of what? Then the tap water open and be during what? With brushing your teeth. So we must turn off water during some activity like brushing your teeth. Okay? What about the time of the shower? We must decrease the time of shower in order to conserve the fresh water, my dear students. Okay, that's for the first activity, which is called about what? Hmm, how much water do you use every day? And with that, we must conserve the fresh water and change our habits, like what, my dear students, our habits like taking a quick shower, like close the tap while washing our what hands or what or while brushing your teeth. Now let's talk about the next activity, which is talking about drinking water. The activity talk about drinking water. We have learned that fresh water is limited. Yeah, which is the drinking water. It's a limited renewable resource. And it's very important for the living organism to survive. That's because, yeah, living organisms need water to survive. Some living organisms, like plant and animal, live in water. So it's the habitat for the living organism, and they need the fresh water to survive. Okay? You, my dear student, create many methods. These methods used to filter the water. Why? To recycle the wastewater or the polluted water. Well, we pollute the water. So we might pollute it, so we must recycle it. And that's to be used again in some other purpose. So living organism, yeah, the human must recycle the water to be used it in other purpose, like what? Like irrigation. We can't drink this reused water, but we can use it in other purpose, like what, my dear student, like irrigation. Okay? But if we're going to make a water filter at home, this that look at this picture, it's a dirty water. we inshallah we're going to change the dirty water into filtered water by using simple tools in our home, which are firstly scissors. Okay. Secondly, a plastic bottle. And after that, a cotton balls. Okay. After that, charcoal. After that, sand. And finally, the dirty water which we want to clean. Okay. Let's start, my dear students. Not how can you make this dirty water? We can make the dirty water simply by adding some mud to the clear water. If you add the mud to the clear water, it will be dirty water. And now, by this simple water filter, we are going to what? We are going to, yeah, make it clear. Okay? Let's start with the first step. Cut off the bottom of the plastic bottle and place it upside down on other part of the bottle as shown. Yeah, so we'll put it like what from here. We will use the scissors to cut it here. If we use the bottle, yeah, and cut it with the scissors, then we will make it upside down on the other part of the bottle. Okay? Number two, make a layer of cotton balls in the cut cup. Firstly, here we put the cotton balls. After that, we are going to put charcoal above the cotton balls. There is a charcoal above what? The cotton balls. Number three, yeah, this is charcoal which will put a poles. We will add sand above the charcoal. Then we will add the sand. So poles, charcoal, and sand. After that, pour the dirty water in the filter. Then we can pour here the dirty water in the filter. Now, what can we see? Look, this is of course opened and there is what? A hole in it. Yeah? My dear student, the filter move most of dirt. It will move most of dirt from dirty water. Most of dirt move from the dirty water. And the filtered water moves down on the bottom of the container. Here we can find the filtered water. What we can conclude from this activity? We can conclude that water filters are used to remove the harmful material from polluted water. Now we remove this harmful material from the polluted water to get filtered water. And the human can use it in many purposes, like what? Like irrigation. So that's how the human, which cause pollution to the water, make reuse it or recycle it to use it again. Okay, by using what? A simple water filter. That's by the human. But my dear student, in the nature, recycling water takes place. How? How the water recycled? Look at this picture. There is the water. Firstly, the sun energy plays important role in the water cycle. By what? The water evaporated. And after evaporation, it will condense, forming the cloud. After that, the cloud rains and falling what? Falling the rain again and collected in another water body. So the water evaporated, condensed, precipitated, and collected, then evaporated, and so on. So there is what? There is a water cycle. The water cycle, the solar energy help the earth to recycle and reuse what? Recycle and reuse the water. And the human also can recycle the water and reuse the water in many purposes. Yeah, like what we said before, like in irrigation. So recycling may be by simply at home by the water filter, and we studied it before. Then in the nature, using what? Using the solar energy to recycle the water of what? The water bodies. And finally, the human also can use waste water treatment plant. Again, waste water treatment plant. Like what? The waste water engineers. It's a type of engineering, yeah, which is called wastewater engineer. They are special kind of scientists. Again, they are a special kind of what? Scientists. Some of them work in a water treatment plant, like Bahr al-Bakr wastewater treatment plant in Egypt. So, here, my dear students, what is the role of the wastewater engineer? Yeah, here they reuse the water and remove the waste product from it. If the wastewater engineer remove the wastes from the water, it will be treated water, and this treated water will be used again for many purposes like irrigation. Okay, now my dear students, let's solve the following questions to check your understand. Firstly, water cycle is considered an example of water cycle, example of what? Recycling water or overusing of water or preservation of water or conservation of water. In the water cycle, is the water conserved? No. Preserved? No. But my dear student, it's recycled. The next one. What are special kind of scientists who work on recycling water in water treatment plant with the scientists who work in this. Of course, my dear student, is this hydrologist? No, scientist talks about the water. Aquatic biologist? No. Marine biologist? No. But wastewater engineer. Take care that. Wastewater engineer work on what? Yeah, the kind of scientists work on recycling the water treatment plant. The next one. Which process is used to get filtered water from polluted water? Now we will have a filtered water from the source is called polluted water. Now we can get the filtered water from the polluted by preservation? No, preservation control use, restrict access. Huh? Sustainability manage use. Huh? Conservation by sustainability or preservation. But we get filtered water from polluted water. This come from recycling. Number 4, sand and cotton can be used to remove all the following from the wastewater except sand and wood cotton can remove what? They can remove, yeah, small piece of plastic, of course. It can move small piece of rocks, yeah. It can move a particles of mud, of course, yeah. But it can't move the salt that dissolve in water because it dissolved with water, so it will move to the recycled water. Okay, let's move to the next one. If you have two families, family A and family B. Family A consists of what? Family A consists of three members. Family B consists of four members. If you know that each member use 20 liters to wash hands daily. So the total amount of water which is used by family A is what? That's used by family B. Family A, which had this number of members, will what will use with a less number from what family B. Okay, the next one. We can use all the following objects to make a simple water filter. You think the simple water filter, which you make at home? Yeah, we can use all of these to make this simple water filter, except we can use the cotton, we can use the charcoal, we can use the sand, but mud, it's not one of the components of the simple water filter. Let's move to another exercise. Complete the following sentence using the words below. We have electricity, quality, rains, dam. Let's start, my dear students. Number one, building a space across a tributary can change the amount of water. Yes, building what? Change the amount of water in it. Building, my dear student, a dam. Building dam, yeah, it's important for what? Yeah, for change the amount of water. The next one, the extinction of some species that live in fresh water. Some species of animal live in fresh water. Is due to, that's due to what, my dear student? It's due to the poor what of water. Poor, that's due to the poor quality of water. Okay, the next one, in high dam, water is used to generate. Yes, in the high dam, water is used to generate what? Get and remember again. In high dam, we can use the water to generate electricity. Groundwater, which is the type of water that leaks and seeps into the ground from high altitude to low altitude, and it's replaced by what? If the well dry, what will happen? Of course, my dear student, it's replaced by rains. Okay, let's move to another question. Write the scientific term. The action of control reaching the human to the natural resource or using them. Control reaching the natural resource or using them. Control reaching control access. That's all words equal to preservation process. The next one, it means using the resources in a way that not affect the future, negatively affect the future supply. So it's what, my dear student, if we use the resource in a way not negatively affect the future supply, so this word means we manage the use of the resource. Okay, and that's called what, sustainability. So using the resource not negatively affect the future supply, that's what, that's sustainability. Okay, let's move to another question. Complete the following sentences. Groundwater is replaced by what? Yes, groundwater found under the ground. If they dry up, they will replaced by, of course, my dear student, by rains. The next one, the run out of. Run out of means that there is no, okay, what? Cause the wells to be dry. If what run out, the wells will be dry. If the groundwater run out, the wells will be dry. So groundwater run out, well will be dry. Groundwater replaced by rains. The next one, plastic is made from. If the question asks me about the plastic. Plastic made from what? Yeah, plastic made from oil product. While paper and wood are made from what? Paper and wood, they comes from what? The trees. The next one, clothes can be made from which product? Clothes which we wear. Yeah, it's made from maybe animal product or what? Or plant products. The next one, if we use fossil fuel wisely, that means we manage the use without negative effect the amount in the future. This is called, again, we use it wisely, not negatively affect the future. That's, my dear student, sustainability. After that, to conserve water. To conserve water, we can what? The time of washing hand. To conserve water, we can reduce the time of washing hand. Okay, now, my dear students, let's move to the last type of question for today, which is put true or false. Preservation and sustainability. Again, preservation and sustainability are ways to conserve natural resource. Are the preservation and sustainability used to conserve? That's true, my dear student. Both of them used to conserve the natural resource. But preservation, that's by restrict access, control use. There is many rules to use it. But sustainability, using the resources in a way which not negatively affect the future supply. Okay, and this used to conserve the natural resource. The next one, when people manage use, again, manage use of natural resource to make them available in the future, preservation and sustainability are ways to conserve the natural resource. That's, of course, true, my dear students. And when the people manage the use of the natural resource, yeah, they manage use, yeah, to make them available in the future. That's called sustainability. Of course, my dear students, that's what sustainability. But if the question tell me that placing cows in small grass area. So there are many cows and there is a small grass area. That's considered unsustainability. That's true, my dear students. If there is a small grass area, yeah, it's unsustainable. But it's sustainable to have a large area and number of white cow. So here there is time for the plant to grow, but in the small grass area, no time for the grass to grow, so the cow eat it, and there is no time to grow, and the cow will be also hungry. So we must use the sustainable situation, not the unsustainable, after we studied the difference between them. Number four, you must decrease the time of taking your shower to conserve water. That's sure true. You must decrease the time of taking shower. You must decrease the time of flushing toilet. You must decrease what the time of what or the amount of water which we use during brush your teeth. Take care to this point. You can conserve water. You can conserve water by leaving the tap open during brushing your teeth. Is it true or false? Okay, my dear student, that's true. You must conserve the water by leave it open. Now that's, my dear student, false. It's false because we mustn't conserve it by leave it open, but we must close it and use what? And use a cup and another means to conserve the water. But sure, after we finished concept 3.2, which talk about the water as a valuable natural resource, all members of us have a very important role to preserve the fresh water, because, my dear student, water is a valuable natural resource which we can't live without it on the earth. Water is limited, and when the living organism what use it and pollute it, we can recycle it again by the wastewater treatment plant, or simply at house by a simple filter. Also, in the nature, we must know that the water cycle repeated again and water recycled again naturally through the water cycle. So now all of us know that water a valuable natural resource. Now, my dear students, we finished our session for today. Waiting all of you, inshallah, in the next session. And Eid Mubarak alayna wa alaykum, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.